Hey everybody, Ground Your Games here. We're going to take a look at Twilight Struggle, the Cold War, 1945 to 1989. Previous video I did was just kind of an overview, so I'm actually going to do some play. So we'll go offline and play the AI. We'll create a game. We'll do random sides. I'm Tricky Dick in this game. We're using standard game with some extra optional cards. Start game. Let's see who I end up playing. I am the Russians. I am the USSR. So I'll kind of go over some basic mechanics. I'll try and play it action round here. A turn might be a little long for a YouTube video, so I'll play a couple rounds and maybe put together a few videos. Let's see what we have. So basically the first thing you have to do is place your initial influence, and influence is what controls countries. You can see right here. So when you place your influence, if it's white like this, that means you have presence, but you do not control the country. For instance, East Germany is controlled by the Soviets, and also the UK is controlled by the US, as well as Australia down here. And like I showed you before, you can zoom in if you like, using this handy button down here. Otherwise, you can just scroll wheel. So once we figure out where we want to put these influence, we are going to watch the AI do theirs. I can almost guarantee you the AI will put 4 in West Germany and 3 in Italy. I'll lock those up. So I'm going to go Poland. See how I have presence but not control. And now when I put this last one in, I actually have control. And this number right here in these little boxes is called the stability number. So depending on what that number is, you get control or presence. So for instance, Syria is a 2. If I put one more in there, I'll have control. Same with Iran and the US. Iraq, I have 1 out of 3, so on and so forth. So let's take a look. 3 more. I want to lock up. You know what? I'm going to put an extra one. I'm going to over control these 2, and then I'm going to go into Yugoslavia down here. And then this button means you commit. If you don't want to commit, you can always go back over here and hit the back button. But we'll commit. And what did I tell you? So the headline phase. I tell you, 4 in West Germany, 3 in Italy. You can tell I played the AI a little bit. So the first step in an action round is the headline phase. So you need to select one of your cards to headline. Now the AI has already got theirs, waiting on me. So I'm able to pick any of these to headline. If they're red, like this one, this one, this one, that means that their card's beneficial to the USSR. If they're blue, like NATO, Truman Doctrine, 5-year plan, US-Japan Mutual Defense Pact, those are all US beneficial cards. If they are blue and red, like nuclear test ban and the China card, that means they're beneficial to both players. So just for instance, early war, blue and red, the number here is the operation point, and this is the event. Player earns 2 victory points equal to current DEFCON level -2, then improves DEFCON 2 levels. So I could score some quick points because my DEFCON level is 5, and if I brought that down to 3, no, I'm sorry, it's DEFCON level -2, and then improves at 2 levels. So it's already maxed at 5, which is peaceful. So if I did this, I would get 3 victory points right off the bat. But I'm giving up 4 operations points, which is pretty big, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the other ones. Comic-Con, Council for Mutual Economic Assistance. 1 influence in each of 4 non-US controlled countries in Eastern Europe. Not really interested in that right now, so I am not going to play that. I could do Fidel and just lock down Cuba. That gives me 3 influence in Cuba, which means I control it because it's 3 stability, and also the red stripe on these countries mean they're battleground states, and that's important. We'll talk about that in the future here. I don't think I'm going to do that yet because Central American scoring doesn't come in until I think the mid-round. I'm not an expert, but I think it's mid-round. You can play it now, of course, but I think I'll save it. How about Romanian abdication? What does that one look like? Remove all U.S. influence in Romania. There are none. But I get control, so and it's only a 1 ops card, so I think I'm going to play that as my headline. Let's see what the U.S. did. Indo-Pakistani War. I'm going to pause real quick. This card right here means that they're going to cause a war. Here, I'll show you. And they succeed. And they gain 2 victory points and military ops. Isn't that fun? And then I got my Romania right here. You see that? Perfect. So now I control this, and it's important to control these countries that are linked with this black line because that means it's a direct link, and that helps during coup attempts and battles and that kind of thing. So for instance, the USA has a direct line to Cuba, Mexico, Canada, and Japan. And you can see that right here. So now you go on to the action round. So I'm going to play my first card. So the action rounds right here, you can see early war, 6 action rounds. So I have 6 cards to play. So I can either play one of mine. I can play this as an event, or I can play it as operations points. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play one of these bad boys. I don't know what kind of cards the AI has. He may have scoring cards. I say it might have scoring cards, and those are resolved right here. So if they play the card, for instance, European scoring, there would be no victory points because we're even right now. You cannot hold on to scoring cards, so you have to get rid of them, and you'll see how that works once we get a scoring card. I could play the Truman Doctrine. That's one of the US events. It would remove all USSR influence markers in one uncontrolled country in Europe. It's only 1 ops, so placing influence might be okay, but a coup might work. So I think, let's see, how many do I have? I have 2, so he's going to take influence from here or here if I play this card. I could just play this card for the operations points and place influence in countries. So let's start there. Let's see what this AI's got. So now we have to choose. I don't have any scoring cards, so I'm kind of guessing, but I could try and lock down a couple countries. I think what I'll do is I'm going to work on the Middle East. Let's pop one in Syria. Let's control Syria. So now we control it. And that helps with coups and placing influence. You can see the flashing countries. That's where I can place influence right now. I'm unable to place any here, unable here, and unable here because I don't have any links to other countries. Now if I were to get Cuba with that Fidel card, I would have a link to Nicaragua and Haiti, and I could place influence then in those. But right now I can't do that. So I think I'm going to stick with the Middle East. So I do believe the U.S. is going to go after Iran. So let's just work on Iraq. I need 2 more in there to control it. And it's a battleground country, so you get more points for battleground countries. So let's control that. Now I have 1 more. I think it'd be a good idea to lock down. Well, I can't lock it down. I only have 1 left, but I can put 1 in Jordan. Excuse me. Now I'm going to commit to that, and then the AI is going to go.
Nations can cooperate, and that there are no international problems.
Now you'll see
of goodwill cannot solve or adjust.
military ops track right here. I need 5 military ops because DEF CON is at 5. So we're going to see what he does. He's going to coup. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm battling a cold. So he played this as a coup. He'd forego the operations points, which means that he doesn't get the event and he doesn't get the ops. He gets the coup. And he failed. He rolled a miserable 1. So the way this works is total operations of 3. He tried to coup Syria, who was under the USSR control, at 2. So the coup defense is 4. And miserably, they failed on a dice roll of 1. So yes, there is RNG in this game. Your cards are not as RNG-like, because you can usually make them work, although I've had really bad hands before and had to just give up. But the dice rolls can really screw you over. He did gain 3 military ops, so based on this coup attempt, but we survived. Syria is strong. Now, if you look at this, turn 1, round 2, 5 rounds remaining. I need 5 mil ops points. I have 0, so I have to consider that, because if you don't, out of 5, if it ended right now, the turn ended, I would end up losing 5 victory points, and that's pretty bad. So let's see what we're going to do here. So I can play this, perhaps. One of the things I like to look at are their cards. Does this make any difference? USSR player must randomly discard 1 card. So it could be any of these. If it's a US event, the event occurs immediately. So if I discard this one, that would trigger the event, but I could use the 4 ops points. The Truman Doctrine I could play. It's only 1 point. It could remove 1 and so I think I'm going to try and do a coup and see if I can get some mil ops points for the coup. What can we try? How about Iran? So in order for me to actually get in the country, I need to roll a 5 or a 6. A 1, 2, 3 roll would change nothing. A 4 roll would remove theirs, and a 5 and 6 would add. So I think it's worth it. Let's try it. It's only 1 ops point, so that has a big that's a big deal when it comes to these coups, but it's still worth the effort, I think. Let's see what happens. Hey, look at that. We rolled a 5. That's a good roll. So we couped Iran and got influence in that country. Now that changed DEF CON to 4 because the coup attempt was made in a battleground country. Non-battleground countries do not change DEF CON. And you see my military ops went up, but I still need 3 more. So now the AI is going to decide what to do with their Truman Doctrine, because I played this. So they're going to remove an influence, and I'm guessing either Finland, or it'll be Finland or Yugoslavia. Yep, Yugoslavia. There we go. So they still need, they don't need any mil ops. They're done. You can see that lit up screen. So the mil ops changes based on DEF CON. So if he did another coup and got 2 at a battleground country, it would change it to 3, then I would only need to get 2 more. So he's using this for influence of 3, and he put influence in North Korea. That's not good. And let's see what he did. If you look down here on these tabs, you can look at their play. So he plays, so sometimes you miss it, so you have to look back. So he put one in Egypt and one in North Korea. So he kind of screwed up my North Korea. I don't have control of that country anymore. So what I'm going to do, let's look at NATO. USSR player may no longer make coup or realignment roles in any U.S. controlled countries. U.S. controlled countries in Europe may not be attacked by the Brush War event. I don't think we played the Marshall Plan or Warsaw Pact, so I'm going to play this for influence. Let's do that, because it's 4, that's pretty big. So we're going to take back North Korea. We're going to grab Pakistan. No, we're going to grab Iran. And we're also going to grab Pakistan. Let's lock down Pakistan as well. So now we got a good foothold in Middle East, and we're starting in Asia here. Commit. Continue. Let the AI decide. It's an interesting game, and it's really engaging, I think. You learn a little bit of history, too. I mean, I didn't really know anything about the U.S.-Japan Mutual Defense Pact. Using that as influence, and he put in Egypt and Angola, so he's controlling now African country. So you see right here, that gave him 2 points, just like that. If he has the scoring card. We'll find out. So now what do? Do I go into Africa and try and counter that? Or do I try and do something in the Middle East? I think I'm going to play this for influence. 3 influence. Let's lock down Jordan. And I can't place anything in Africa because I don't have anything next to it. So what I think I'm going to do, and the key to Africa, really, in North Africa, is France, because they're connected to Algeria. But I think we're okay right now. So where should we put it? Let's lock down... let's lock down Afghanistan. I'm going to create a bulwark against the imperialist capitalists. Commit. Continue. Now I do need mill ops, or otherwise I'm going to lose points. So I need to stage a coup somewhere. I think I'll use my Fidel card for that. And try and coup perhaps Egypt. If I can. I don't even know if I can. Opponent event. He's playing one of my cards. So remove 4 influence. I can remove a total of 4 U.S. influence from France, the UK, and Israel. No more than 2 per country. So there's none in France, so it's Israel and the UK. So I think I'm getting screwed. Alright, we'll take 2 out of there. And we'll remove Israel. That's it for me. Commit. Yep. Now they're going to probably either coup or place this influence. Let's see what they do. Or what it does. I keep saying they and him. It's a computer. It's an it. Influence. I knew it. Where's it? Oh, Libya. Oh, yeah. Colombia. So, the Middle East, or I'm sorry, Central America is going to come into play here soon. So, Colombia is a kind of a linchpin country, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that right now. Let's see what we got. We're out in scoring. Europe's even. Africa, they've got an advantage. Middle East is even, which is hard to believe since, well, he's got 2 right here. He countered me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him have Japan. I'm going to use this. Well, wait a minute. I'm going to coup. That's right. We're going to use Fidel to coup, and that card will come back eventually in the reshuffle. So let's coup. What can I coup? I can coup Egypt. I can coup Libya. I can coup the Philippines. I can coup Japan. Or South Korea. Interesting. Let's try Egypt. So I need a 5 or 6. That's pretty weak. I can X that out and go to, let's try Libya. Same deal, 5 or 6. A 4 will be okay. How about the Philippines? That's a little better odds. DEFCON will remain a 4 because it's not a battleground country. It's not red. And it's pretty good roll chance. And I'll gain 2 milliamps. Let's do that. Yes, score. That was a good roll. So now I replaced his 1 with my 3 and I over control the Philippines. How many cards left? I've got 1 and the US has 2. Space race. And they failed. So you're able to use a card for the space race. And of course you're beholden to RNG on the dice. However, if you do win, you get to move up to the next spot in the space race. So they failed. So they had a ops, or they had an ops card of 2, which is what you need, 2 ops. They didn't roll a 1 through 3, they rolled a 4. So they failed. So they're stuck right here on Earth. No space for you, the US. And the best part of this is you can use your opponent's card to play the space race, and there's no other effect. You can't use you can't use the ops, you cannot use the event, and so forth. So I still need 1 mil ops. I'm going to lose probably a point, but that's okay. I am going to use this, and I'm going to space race it and see if I can get anywhere. Now if I do, I'm going to get 2 victory points. This means the first player to get there gets 2, the second gets 1. This round there are none. This round 2-0 and so forth. So let's roll. Fingers crossed. We need a 1 through 3. Success. We win. 2 victory points. We got a satellite in space. And I think that's actually how it worked in real life. I think the Soviets got a satellite in space, and that freaked out the US to, especially Kennedy, right? Because I think they saw the potential and also the unnerving Soviets having capabilities to launch rockets, into space, which means that they can launch rockets to the US. So, and we kind of see that today with the North Korea, all the hullabaloo, is that how you say it? Hullabaloo over their rocket program, and Iran as well. Anyway, so here we go. They've got 1 more card to play. Sorry, you hear my dog. And they played this card. So this card is an automatic win. So they got their space. Good for the US. Following the USSR. Alright, so that's the end of the turn. DEFCON level is at 4. Victory points +1 for the US, and I lost 1, so they're going to get 2. And that's kind of how to play. I'll continue on with more as we go along. Thanks for watching.